The best customer service, obsessive attention to the customer experience, obsessing over the customer. Focus obsessively enough on customer experience.
Customer obsession, the secret and most critical mantra of Amazon and typically all of its employees. But if we have to determine the root of this idea, simply point to this man. Jeff Bezos. He's the richest man in the world. He has a net worth of over $100 billion, but instead of me explaining that, I'll let him do it.
Hey, who are you?
I'm Jeff Bezos.
And what is your claim to fame?
I'm the founder of Amazon.com.
Where did you get an idea for Amazon.com?
Well, 3 years ago, I was in New York City working for a quantitative hedge fund when I came across the startling statistic that web usage was growing at 2,300% a year. So I decided I would try and find a business plan that made sense in the context of that growth.
That clip was shot in 1994, and Bezos has remained unscathed in his motto of his company. So we all know he's the richest man in the world. He's the owner of Amazon and also a huge fan of the Star Trek, from which an actual real product was inspired.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
We started working on this device, and our vision was that in the long term, it would become the Star Trek computer.
In 2014, Bezos' talking computer, the Amazon Echo, hit the market.
Now, Alexa was something which came in almost a decade after Amazon's inception. So let's go back to 1994. At that time, Bezos was working in D.E. Shaw & Co., a Wall Street hedge fund where he became a vice president after 4 years of working in that place. During this time, the internet was so pervasive that it was expanding at a rate of over 2200% per year. Having been gifted with a sheer passion towards business, Bezos saw an enormous opportunity to exploit it towards fueling his dreams. So, at that time, the biggest bookstore in the country had about 150,000 books in store. So, what does Bezos do? In a move to expand that boundary and also having millions of other options to customers, Jeff straightaway chose books as the first thing to sell on Amazon. And that was it. The website was a total hit, and Amazon would eventually start selling everything. And I mean every single thing. From weird toys to monster trucks, anything you ask for, Amazon has got it. As the company expanded, so did the stock and market cap of Amazon.
New this morning, Piper Jaffray's Michael Olson out with a note making the case for Amazon stock to reach $3,000 in the next 2 to 3 years. That would be an increase of more than 60% from today's levels.
Actually, Amazon was one of the few companies to survive the dot-com bubble crash. The company was doing so good that the stock going down hardly even mattered to Bezos. And he was right, because today the stock price is over $2,000 and simply compare that to the time of inception of Amazon. Now, a rapidly expanding Amazon meant an infectious rate of increase in the number of customers, of course, which in turn means people who once used to go to retail stores have simply turned towards the online giant. And on top of that sundae, there is one sweet cherry, the Amazon Prime. See, the market share of Amazon grew so high that its dystopian effect on once chain retailers was absolutely inevitable. And one big reason why retailers couldn't fight with Bezos was because of the cheap price that Amazon was able to offer with respect to its customer base. I mean, it could simply afford to take small margins over a large pie, and it was awesome for the customers as well, but not the business owners of small shops. And by now it should hit you in your mind, if Amazon has such a high number in market share, won't it lead to a monopoly? Well, I'll let you decide. Take a look at this. Amazon is simply not taking a piece of the pie. It is the goddamn pie. See, in 2018, Amazon had made a profit of $11 billion and yet managed to pay zero taxes. Though it seems intriguing, it's a totally different topic for another video. But now, making such huge profits means its employees get to enjoy a lot of benefits and leeways, right? Well, not exactly. Though the pay per hour is much higher than the mandatory set by the central government, the work environment of the Amazon workers are not so pleasing. We know that Amazon makes most of its money because of its ability to deliver products on time, right? Which means the workforce of Amazon associated with the delivery of products go through some pretty hectic work schedules, hardly having to meet up with any breaks due to this humongous demand, as this one worker says.
Security cameras right behind you at all times that are looking at you 24/7, and if you don't meet standards or the rates, you're out the door, you're just disposable.
And not only that, there have been complaints about lacking air conditions in the warehouses and a device being always monitoring you through the work times, and the aircraft pilots of Amazon being amateurs of this huge rising demand, which led to this.
Chaos in the cockpit and prayers in the final moments before a crash. Federal investigators released new details about the Amazon cargo jet that went down in Trinity Bay, killing all 3 on board.
But you may say, how about a union? That should solve this problem, right? Well, yes, but not here, because Amazon has simply made sure that no unions are formed there. In fact, when the state of New York had a meeting regarding Amazon's standpoint about union, it was not so cool.
How many of those employees are unionized?
None, sir.
None. Would you be okay with agreeing to neutrality so that workers can unionize?
No, sir. We respect and
You wouldn't agree to that?
Correct, sir. We would not.
You are in a union city, and one of the first answers to your question today is, would you be neutral? You said no. That is not a way to come to our city.
In total, over 14 employees have died in working conditions of Amazon, which is horrific. Look, a company like Amazon, which all of us use, having a strict motto of
Obsessing over the customer experience.
yes, is good, which is why it's also successful. But me or you or any of us receiving a product at the cost of someone's life is simply overwhelming. I don't say accidents don't happen, and I simply have my utmost formidable respect for Jeff Bezos, because of whom we have this such great feature and such great lifestyle. But when you're a company like Amazon making $11 billion profits per year, I believe you can simply do better than this.